In this video, I'll be outlining some of the reasons why self-improvement might not be for you. So without further ado, let's get into it. First reason is sacrifice. On self-improvement, you have to sacrifice a lot. You have to sacrifice bad habits, which are genuinely considered good, like eating junk food. Like, you have to sacrifice that. You might have to sacrifice people as well, not like kill them or anything weird, but like you might have to find new friends if your current ones don't support you in what you're doing. If they bring you down instead of bringing you up, you might have to let go of them. That's another part of sacrifice. So yeah, sacrificing people, things that you previously enjoyed but that you know aren't good for you in the long run. All of that is a part of sacrifice, and if you want to treat self-improvement seriously, you will have to sacrifice some of these things. The next topic is commitment. As everybody knows, you have to commit to self-improvement. It's not just like oh yeah, I'm just going to do 10 push-ups and then I'm not going to do anything for like another 2 years. Like, no, you have to stick true to your word. If you say that you're going to do something, you have to do it. If you're going to go for a run like twice a week for a month, you have to do that. It's commitment. That's part of self-improvement. If you can't stick to your word, then that's an issue. You have to be able to stick to your word, and you have to be able to commit to what you said you would. Another reason self-improvement might not be for you is isolation. Oftentimes you feel quite isolated when you're on self-improvement because you see all these people around you, and they're still doing all the stuff that you used to do, but then you figured out that, I don't want to live that kind of life. I don't want to be a degenerate. And it is quite isolating when you take a step back from all that, and it's hard to find people who have the same goals and ambitions as you, or similar ones, for a while, but you will get there. It just takes a while to start with, but yeah, that's another reason why self-improvement is quite difficult. You will feel isolated, especially to begin with, and that's not easy for some people. Another reason is burnout, which happens when you work too much. Maybe you're slightly too committed to something, and you go all out, and then you realize that you can't really keep up what you've been trying to do. So you take a step back, or sometimes you just keep going and going and going, and then eventually you just get so overwhelmed, and it gets so difficult, and then that in turn lowers your self-esteem. If you aren't doing what you said you wanted to, if your expectations have been set too high, then that lowers your self-esteem if you haven't stuck true to your word. So that's why it's important to set realistic expectations. Another reason is balance. It's hard to find a balance in self-improvement because not everyone is going to commit 100% to self-improvement, and I'm not 100% committed to self-improvement. I still go to like birthday parties and stuff like that, which isn't exactly that good for me, but I like hanging out with other people, and I believe that every once in a while it's okay to do some of those things. I don't do anything silly that I know I'll regret, but yeah, it's hard to find a balance on self-improvement, and that links back to burnout and doing too much or doing too little. So yeah, it's hard to find a balance, and that's another reason why self-improvement might not be for you. Here's another kind of side effect of self-improvement. It's not really an issue when you're starting out, because oftentimes you're quite, you're low, your bar's set quite low, but it's once you start improving yourself and getting better, your ego gets bigger. That's almost inevitable, and it's really important that you're aware of this, and that you try to remain as humble as you can, because nobody likes an arrogant person, and people will respect you a lot more if you're humble about your achievements. And yeah, having a big ego it's a bit of red flag for some people. My second last point is procrastination. Oftentimes in self-improvement, you might find yourself procrastinating because the habits that you're trying to do are harder to do than the bad habits, and that ties in with hard work. Like you don't want to do the hard work, which is why I like the quote from Hams I mentioned in the other video: "Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it." That's why I really like that quote, because this ties into procrastination. You have to do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. And yeah, you can't just stick to the easy option, because in the long run, you know deep down that it won't be beneficial to you. Yeah, it's about delaying gratification. And my last point is time management. How you manage your time dictates every part of your life. I'm a bit guilty of this. I don't manage my time that great. I sleep in quite a bit. I'm a bit slow kind of in the morning to get moving. Once I do, I'm alright, but like to first start off, I'm quite slow. So I'm a bit guilty of this as well. But I'm working on it, and this is a reason why self-improvement might not be for you, because you have to manage your time. You have to plan out what you want to get done in a day, and this also links in with balance. Like if you want to have a bit more of a balance, like if you want to do some bad habits and some good ones, that's fine. You don't have to 100% commit yourself to self-improvement, and not many people do. I think it would be very beneficial too, but especially if you're still a kid, like it'd be pretty hard to 100% commit yourself to this, because you're a kid, like you want to have fun sometimes. But yeah, it's important to manage your time. If you don't do so, you'll find yourself slipping back into doing these bad habits if you're not telling yourself, okay, I need to do this at this time, this at this time. You have to be direct and say what you're going to get done and do it. I think that's really important, and that's another reason why self-improvement isn't for some people. Be not afraid of growing slowly. Be afraid only of standing still. That's a quote. Have a good one, guys.